Buenos Dias Gunners Collective. Back at it, you already know, like a motherfucking smack addict, right? And as you can tell by today's thumbnail, yes indeed, I'm about to write graffiti all over the bus. I'm about to get down in a menudo style in a direct fashion. Menudo, vato. You know what I mean? Let's take it old school. I'm about to tell you what's going on right now. We're talking about the first riot that the gun, yes indeed, I wrote graffiti, myself, was ever in. And at the end of the day, it ain't never cool to be in a riot, but Sasuke, I was involved in a few of them. And this is about the very first one that I was ever involved in. You know, as a youth, as a minor, as a ward of the state. You know, I was involved in California Youth Authority, man. We were getting off. We were getting down. Riots were commonplace. They were normal. It was something that happened. It was something that was going to continue to happen. And something Sasuke, so help us God. We were involved. But the first one, you know, and let me give you a description of it. But at the same time, I want to tell you how a melee and a riot are two different things. Okay, what entails a melee? Okay, a melee is 3 or 4 individuals against maybe 3 or 4 individuals, and they get meleeed up, right? You get off where you're mad at. It's kind of like a planned thing that happens, sometimes unplanned, you know, something's unprovoking or something provokes you, and then you get down, you get off. And, you know, of course, vatos are going to have homeboys that back their play, and we had a fucking thing that was one jump, all jump. So, of course, if one of us was getting down, everybody was supposed to jump in. It didn't work out like that all the time. Sometimes vatos would be on the ground like, hey, you're supposed to be jumping. I got a fucked up toe, so I can't jump. There's no jumping jacks. Yeah, jump in, though, puto, in that fashion. But there was many cases like that, and we'll get to that. But basically, that's what entails a melee. A lightweight, kind of, it's like a food stamp to $1. You know, it's kind of there. You can kind of get some of the same shit with it, but there's some things you just can't. And that's what it was. You know, a melee was nothing like a riot, but kind of like a riot, if you get my drift. But the very first riot I was involved in was in Fred C. Nellis as a youth, you know. Anyone that's never been there, that was located on Whittier Boulevard, right there in Southeast LA. And yes, of course, man, being a youngster, being from up north, what the fuck was I doing there? Well, let me tell you what I was doing there. Time. Okay, I was doing time. It was known as the Time Bomb or Gladiator School, and I was a YA baby. Didn't even know what that meant at that time. Became one later. But I was a youngster. I was a youngster from up north, and at that time, this was 92, 93. The governor of California, Pete Wilson, decided that if for no other reason, he should take North Benders. It was a project, right? It was a project. It was a what do they call it? Experiment, vato. You know what I mean? And they were going to ship us down south. Because at that time, you know, there had always been Southerners up north. So it was time to start shipping Northerners down south. Tit for tat. To be honest, let's keep it real. It was all about parity there. It was all about being, you know, being normal. You know, Sasuke, you weren't in the Southern California Youth Authority. You weren't in the Northern California Youth Authority. You were in the California Youth Authority. Sasuke, bang, bang. Southern Cal, here we go. So I caught that bus. You know, I was on the second bus over there. That's where I went. A lot of you guys know my story. That's been around, day oneers. But I get there, okay? And I'm about to give you guys the details of what really cracked. You know, what really happened, word for word, from my own words. How I was feeling, the descriptions, the sounds. So I was scared, the people that were crying. There was some real shit going on. So I remember knowing, having enough common sense, even as a young kid, knowing that these guys were waiting on us, you know? And to describe to you the feeling of people waiting on you with bad intentions, murderous intentions. Vatos didn't just want to hit you a couple times in the face, so I was scared to break your nose one time. Vatos wanted to put something in you, some steel in you, okay? They wanted to literally take you off the map. And I'm knowing this, going down south, so I'm like, man, they got the upper hand. So I was scared, they got the high point, vato, you know what I mean? The preparation is already there. I'm sure they already got weaponry. I'm sure they're already prepared. They already got a heads up. Because anyone that's been incarcerated would tell you, you know when people are coming or around the time that they're arriving. You don't know the exact minute or the exact hour. No one shall know, right? But when you see them, you know. If it's on, then it's on, G. So they knew they had the upper hand. But also at the same time, in tactics, in warfare tactics, because this is what it really was. But let's break it down. It was war. You know, it was North and South war at that time. Things have changed over the years, but at that time, man, it was the 90s. It was prevalent. It was Sasuke, bang, bang, menudo. Motherfuckers were getting menudoed all over the place daily. It was a North-South thing, especially in the California Youth Authority. That's what it was, without too much being said. But anyway, so going down there, we also had kind of lightweight, the upper hand, because we know that right when we get there, we could take flight. See, they're not knowing the exact minute we're getting there. They know we're coming. They got weaponry ready. But Sasuke, we could just get up, and show out, you know? And this was what I was trying to tell the homeboys. Look, I'm on the bus, shackled up. Sasuke, this is what we need to do. We need to get there, and the first vatos we see, get off on them. And they're like, no, let's play it by ear. Let's play it by ear. Now, of course, majority rules in that situation. I could have went in there, took flight, because I was feeling some type of way. But of course, I was not going to leave my brothers high and dry like that. I need to stick with the program and stick with what we decided on. So Sasuke, against my better judgment, I was like, fuck it, then I guess we'll see how it all plays out. Sasuke, I already know I'm getting stabbed, right? That's just how I felt. So anyways, we get there. Okay, we get there about 6, 7 in the evening. It had been a long bus ride all the way from Sacramento, NRCC. And when we pull up, I remember the placas were looking at us a certain way. Placas being cops, correctional officers, youth counselors, or whatever the fuck you called them at that time, GSs, you know what I mean? They were looking at us a certain type of way. They were looking at us 2 different ways. 1, pobrecitos, it's on a cracking, you know what I mean? And 2, fuck, you guys are here. Now we got to do paperwork. You're making our job that much harder. Now we have to look out, you know, because anything can happen when a riot happens. And they knew a riot was going to happen just like we did. You know, placas could come up short. Knives are flying, bato. Battery packs are flying. Things are flying. We're going to get to that right now. But this is what was going on. So I get there, right? With the other homeboys, you know, Puerco de Sanjo, Chucky de Sanjo, Dreamer de Corco, Dreamer de Fresno, or was it Dreamer, no, Dealer de Fresno, Diablo de Corco, who else, Spider de Delano, Choker from San Leandro, the Jotito. There was a whole bunch of people, you know what I mean? Cuate de Poros. Anyways, we all get there, and we're all young kids, right? We're all like-mindedness. We're striving for the north, but at the same time, we're all young kids. Also, Monchis de Sanjo was with us. But we're young. You know, we're young and we're thinking, okay, we don't really know what's going to happen, but we know something bad's going to happen, right? So stay on the lookout. So we get there. The placas are looking at us, and I'm getting a bad feeling. This is me personally. I'm telling you my personal feelings on the situation. I was getting a bad feeling. I felt like I was getting thrown to the wolves, right? I was probably the youngest one, skinniest, ugliest one. And I was right there like, fuck, I'm a target. I'm a target because I look more vulnerable than the other homeboys. You know, some of the homeboys already had tattooed teardrops and tattoos, and they looked like they'd been around the block in the 6'4". Me, myself, I was fresh off the banana boat. So I was scared. Say hello to my little friend, bro. I was like, Tony, right over here. I was like right off the banana boat, but at the same time, Holmes, I was going to stick a banana up their tailpipe and let them know that I ain't the one to be fucked with, right? So I get there. And we're sitting in this day room, and the placas are giving us the basic rundown on the program for that building. It was a reception building. It was Truman, which was a reception. And they're giving us the rundown. They're like, okay, this is what it's going to be. This is how it's going to be. This is what you guys are going to do. And we're going, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is how it's going to be. And this is what it's going to be, right? This is what we're telling ourselves. But these are what they're telling us. You know, there's rules and regulations to everything. But at the same time, so it's good. We're convicts. We don't follow rules and regulations. So anyways, boom. They tell us to go down in the dorm area where all the Sureños are, the Southsiders. There's several Africanos there. There's Crips, there's Bloods, there's non-affiliated people, basically people that are just doing time, batos that are just doing time, right? And maybe like one wood. You know, the woods were always short in Nellis. That's just the way it is. Anyone that's been there will tell you, especially in CYA period, there just wasn't a lot of them down south. Maybe up north more, but down south, chale. So we get down. The makeup of this building is one square building, not very big, right? Not very big, but they have maybe, I'd say 8 double bunks on one side and 10 single bunks on the other side, right? Maybe a little bit more. My numbers could be off, but it's been 35 years. Give me a break. Give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar, right? Anyways, this is how it was going down. They had all the Southsiders moved to the double bunks where the Africanos were, where, like I said, the white guy was, and this is just how it was. And they were ready. You can see they put us all on the short wall, which was all the short bunks, right? So we're all looking at each other. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be totally honest with you. There's a lot of apprehension there. There's a lot of nervousness. Butterflies are flying around people's stomachs. Not because people are scared to get stabbed. Not because people are scared of fighting. Not because people were punks or scared anyway. Because it's the unknowing. The unknowing of what you're getting yourself into. Is there going to be a body? Are they planning a murder? Are they planning a hit? Is it just going to be some scrapes and scratches? Where the placas going to put us when this shit happens? Am I going to the hole? Am I going to be separated from the only homeboys that I know? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? What am I doing? What am I doing? You know, this is what the thinking behind my first riot. I knew I was going to get into my first riot, my first real one, my first North and South riot. Now in NRCC in Sacramento, there had been a couple of scrapes, a couple of melees, a couple of basically jumpings. You know, there was not a lot of Southsiders there, so you couldn't even, there wasn't even enough to be a riot. You know, it was basically we were getting off on them and they were getting off on us. Back and forth, get off or you're mad on site. But this was going to be your first 10 of us, 20 to 30 of them. So I was scared. Let's get it on, right? Bang, bang. We were going to get into it. And this is the cool part about it. This is the cool situation. So the blackers put us all down on our bunks and they immediately disappear. They go behind locked doors. There's like a cage area, like office, where they can look at us. And they're sitting in there and they're all staring at us because they're waiting for something to crack. But you know, the Southsiders were intelligent enough to know this. And of course, didn't want to get put on Front Street because they had something planned, vato. So they were going to wait. Little did we know that the nightman was going to come about 10 o'clock. And then that's when all the rest of the placas would go home and there would just be one nightman locked in the security office that no one could get to. And he pretty much ran the program throughout the night. You know, he read newspapers, jacked off, and fucking watched TV. That was his get down. But this night was going to be a little bit different. This night, we were going to rock it. We were going to roll it. This night was going to be different for everybody involved, okay? And the placas knew it. But of course, okay, the wind's blowing that way. I'm going home, but you know what I mean? That's on you. My name's Bennett, and I sure am in it. They're getting on because they don't want to do the paperwork. It's going to be a long night. So we're watching. You know, I'm talking to the homeboy that's right beside me on the bunks. It's squat different poros, you know what I mean? Who end up being, you know, that's all I can say about him. But at that time, you know, I didn't really know him like that. And I was like, damn, homie, we got to get off, man. You know, we had pencils and Bibles and books and whatever that was right there. We're going to utilize these for weapons. Any type of thing you can get your hands on that you can use. Of course, there was a couple homeboys that came with us that were babosos that were not paying attention, that thought, hey, we're just going to, I can't wait to get up in the morning, eat pancakes and play Monopoly. Stop it, right? One of those being Joker from San Leandro. Shout out to the city of San Leandro, some real ones out there in the East Bay. But I will tell you, this cat right here, what's a punk? And that's how, you know what I mean? And that's just straight up. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? I'm just being honest. You know, I'm just being real though. But in a menudo style, I will tell you this. That night we were to get off. Okay. He was a hugger, not a tree hugger, a latrine hugger. You know what I mean? He hugged the toilet bowl. But that's what that was. You know, that's just what it was. I'll never forget that. I'll never forgive it. But at the same time, it is what it is, man. Everybody's different. Everyone got a different mentality. Everyone got a different way of thinking. Not everyone was born cut from that piece of cloth, you know? Everyone's different. You know what I mean? I'm different. Yeah. Oh, puto, we know you're different. And that was that. But you could actually see the Southsiders. And now imagine this as a young kid. You know what's going to crack. You know what's going to go down. You don't know the exact minute, but you're waiting, right? It's a waiting game now. It's quiet. People are whispering. You can see battery packs being slid on the other side. You can hear metal being sharpened. You can see metals, fileros, fucking straight pedazos being fucking swung on the floor to the next man. Vato's kind of showing them off, you know. I mean, they're showing their pieces like, we got something for you, busters, right? Hey, listen here, Custer. You know what I mean? We got some on 55th, right? Well, guess what? I got something for you too. Oh, it's real nifty too on 55th, right? So I was about to get off too. So I'm trying to show that I ain't no punk, but at the same time, man, I'm nervous than a motherfucker. I'm not gonna lie. My adrenaline was pumping. I rocked in the train. You know what I mean? I was like, fuck, it's gonna go down right here. And then what happened was they started the people left and it was just the nightman. And what happens, everyone sat up on their bunks. So I sat up too, like, fuck it on la primera, getting ready for what was going to crack. And they started releasing people to the latrine, meaning you can go to the bathroom one at a time. So of course, the first one snapping his fingers was Joker from San Leandro. And he's over there fucking taking a fucking shit, not even tripping, right? It's been a long bus ride. I should have left you without a dope beat to step to. He's doing his thing, right? And I'm like, what the fuck? Now we're one man short, you know, because it's like a door and he goes in there and it is what it is. At that time, I see several of the Southsiders sit up and now I know it's on. You know, I know it's on and I'm not going to sit here and lie to you guys and bullshit you and say that they got off first or we got off first. To be quite honest with you and to be quite real, you know, as real as I can get, you know, the gun always has to keep it real. Real deal Holyfield for the people, by the people. I don't remember. All I know is I heard the word estrella. Okay, and at that time, that was a derogatory term towards us, meaning star, but it was just that they said it, right? They said estrellas. And when they said estrella, everybody jumped up, and then it was dark in there. It was real dark in there, I remember, and bodies started flying everywhere. I remember I got scratched, a good one, I think someone hit me with the filetto right here in my face. I don't know, it was just a big, deep scratch. I felt battery packs on my head. I was trying to hit people with a pencil, a number 2 pencil. So I was trying to turn a number 2 into a number 4. It was what it was. There was a lot going on. And I remember a couple Africano Crips actually assisted us. They were throwing people around. They were choking people out, putting them out in the late night. And it just went down. And it seemed like this riot went down for a very long time. Maybe because it was my first one and I didn't know what a riot really entailed, only what I've seen on American Me in the movies. So it's good, you're going to lose. You're going to lose. You know, we ain't going against the guns, right? This is what I thought it was going to be, but it was nothing like that. It was just quick flash bomb. Cops came running in. There was mace flying everywhere. I think they hit us with the stun grenade. I don't remember. I remember smoke. And I remember pieces being everywhere, battery pack. And then they snatched us up. We ran back to our bunks, jumped on our bunks, kind of laid it out like this in the prone position so as not to get beat up by the black guys, because the cops will go in there and smack on you. And the cops, I remember, started grabbing Southsiders and dragging them, hog-tying them and dragging them out this back door. They were to never be seen again. These vatos they knew what was going to go down, so they actually had a bus ready. This is real deal. They had a bus ready going up north. They snatched them straight from there, threw them on the bus, grabbed their property up, and took them up north. Now was their time to shine. And this is how that first riot went down. And I remember Joker came out of the latrine like, what happened? Get your fucking ass on your bunk, punk, right? I'll tell you what happens in the morning. And then it was quiet. That was the eerie, funny thing about the whole situation, or the weird thing. It was deathly quiet. They had taken out maybe about, I'd say approximately 15 Sureño Southsiders and put them on that bus to ship them up north. True story, facts. And so now there was probably like 10 left, and there was still 10 of us, well, 9 with the fucking puto, right? Left, and everybody was kind of up all night just looking at each other, ready for something else to crack off. But nothing ever did. Okay, morning time comes, these vatos go to breakfast. Meaning that they all worked in the kitchen area. And let me tell you something about CYA, and then we'll get into prison. A riot, you know, sometimes depending on if there's a body, if someone gets fucking hit pretty hard, then of course you're going to go on lockdown while they defuse the situation, while they kind of investigate. They got to investigate if there's a body or whatever the case may be. But usually in YA, especially in Nellis, the wind's blowing that way. We're going that way. It was nothing. It was nothing. As soon as the fucking mace stopped burning, it was on again. This is how the Placas looked at it. It was just a walk in the park, an everyday thing. Riots and fights and shit. Oh my, it was nothing. Just follow the yellow brick road. Follow the yellow brick road and get into another one. You know what I mean? Pay no attention to the man that's behind the curtain dictating the whole program, because it's going to go down like that. It just wasn't nothing to do it. You know what I mean? You had your mind right, so you better shine right. That's it. Get ready. You know, put your fighting shoes on. So everybody's ready for something else. We wake up in the morning. These guys go to work. They all worked in the kitchen. And so now we could talk amongst ourselves. Of course, we go to the day room. I'm telling the homies, look, we need to get off immediately. Fuck this shit. These fools are going to keep getting deeper. They're going to keep bringing them from other institutions or from other buildings, you know, because I didn't really know what was going on. I'm just assuming. I was just assuming because guess what? I wasn't a baboso like most of these motherfuckers were. I was pretty smart, right? Me and my homeboy Puerco. Everyone else, and Monchis, he was smart too. Chucky as well. Everyone else, I can't speak for him. But we were all talking about it, and I was like, look, bro. Serio, man, we need to get off. And of course, they sent us to the chow hall. They sent us to the chow hall, man, to go eat pancakes. And I told everyone, don't eat it, because you could actually literally hear people spitting in the pancakes, right? We were the only Chicanos there. Of course, they're going to spit in our shit. And that's just the way the situation was. It wasn't that people were doing that on the daily, dicking people's food up or spitting in it. No, but this one time, we had just had a riot. A lot of their homeboys got shipped out. They're feeling some type of way. We're the only Chicanos, the only brown-skinned people coming in the building. They know it's Truman. They say, Truman up. You know what I mean? So that's good. There's one right there for you. So I seen that. And maybe I was totally wrong, but at the same time, I wasn't trying to fucking eat no babas. So I tell the homeboys, don't eat. Now we're hungry. We just took a long bus ride. All we had was a fucking bologna sandwich. But these are the hardships that you have to go through. These are when you start to understand the hardships as a youngster for your cause. My cause at that time being the Norteño, being the Norte, right? I started to endure and see these hardships. Not only was I incarcerated, was I far away from my family, was I a project or an experiment that these cops were trying to do by integrating North and South and sending us down to East LA. Okay, that's understandable. But at the same time, now I'm having my food spit in. Now I'm being persecuted, and I'm being Even the cops are being vindictive towards us. There's a lot going on, you know, and a lot as a youth, as a minor, man, your body's not fully developed. Your mind's not fully developed. You're still a young kid, but you're going through these struggles and these hardships for something that you truly believe in, that you truly believe you're going to get something out of, you know, and most people, some people do. Some people get everything they want out of that gang life, right? And some people don't. And to each their own, and everybody's different. I'm not here to sit here and tell you what route to go. I'm here to tell you the harsh realities of what happened with me, you know. So anyways, we get back to the fucking building. And I've told this story before. These guys start coming in, the Southsiders start coming in for showers. You know, they start coming in from work. And one of them that was actually looking at me, whenever they were spinning the food, he was actually cleaning the tables, kind of looking to see if fucking we were going to eat the pancakes. Of course, none of us, we all pushed our trays out. None of us were going to eat it. He kind of smirked, and I caught that smirk. I'm being very perceptive. My awareness was up even then when as a youngster. So I said, oh, you want to play with that? Mm-hmm. Bang, bang. As soon as he walked in, I took flight. I got off on him, dipped him, hit him with the chair, did what I had to do. They ended up taking me and putting me in the oil, which was the box, the caja. And from there, I came out, and the story goes on. And I've told the story before, riot after riot after riot after riot after melee after riot after riot after melee. You know what I mean? It's like this and like that and like that. And everybody was involved. I wasn't nothing special. Wasn't nothing different about me. But at the same time, this is what was happening. You know, I'm glad now, looking back at it, that they're shutting these places down. They were tragic. They were tragic for a lot of people. It was horror stories. You know, a lot of people went through a lot of different shit. But me being a youngster, going through that first riot, you know, changed my mentality. It changed my mind. It actually made me worse. It made me worse because going through that, it was actually an adrenaline rush. I was like, it ain't that bad. Just give me a pedazo de tocha. You know what I mean? Bang, bang, la primera. You know what I mean? Ain't no stopping. I thought it was turbo. I thought, you know what I mean? I was ready to get out there and ozone a motherfucker. Orale, Chaka Khan. You know what I mean? This is it just made me a worse person. You know, and for many, many years, I went with that flow. You know, I went with that flow, and I got deeper and deeper and deeper involved. And that was just me. And we'll get to that later. But anyways, man, that was my first riot. That's what I experienced. That's what it was. I'm not here to tell you and boast and brag like it was some big deal, like it was some big thing. None of it counts at the end anyways. But it was something that I went through in my life. It's something that changed the whole course of my life. And little by little, man, we're going to get into how the course of my life changed and the thinkings and the mentality that was going behind it. Anyways, man, I hope that you like this. Hit that like and subscribe if you do. If you don't, I understand. You can hit that thumbs down. It's all good in the hood. You're just a hater anyways if you don't. Bang, bang. You know what I mean? Anyways, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you go out there and get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, the struggle, the strive, and everything is for you and your familia and for your gente around you, your people. You know, hey, by all means necessary, get what you got to get and get it and do it moving. You know, the gun, truly blessed, truly blessed. Thank you. I appreciate you for the raza by the raza. You know what it is. Bang, bang.